Civil Nuclear Constabulary Police firearms officer 45-year-old Shaun Mandale has been jailed following his appearance at Carlisle Crown Court. This cretinous pig, who was based at Sellafield, is said to have collected more than 18,000 indecent images of children, including ones that were described as sadistic rape and abuse of babies. Mandale pleaded guilty to several offences, including possession of 18,135 abuse images of children. 7,651 of those were Category A. Possession of 52 prohibited images of children, although I thought all child abuse images were prohibited. And possession of 96 extreme pornography images that he had downloaded over a 17-month period from February 2020 until July 21. Mandale was caught out after police received a tip-off that he was using cloud storage to access the images, and in messages to other pedos he mentioned how he needed to be discreet because his wife was in bed in another room. Prosecutor Gerard Rogerson told the court that it was a huge collection of child sexual abuse material. It included rape and the sadistic abuse of babies. It was said that some of the abuse victims were tethered while they were being abused, including one boy victim who appeared to be just 1 year old. Brendan Burke, defending, said that Mandale's life had been devastated by his offending, leading to the end of his marriage and what had been a genuine and almost successful suicide attempt. Diddums. Almost successful? Well, I'm sorry that it failed. The court heard how Mandale was working with an organisation called Safer Lives, which is pretty disgusting considering the two most prominent Safer Lives organisations that I can find deal with domestic abuse and other preventing suicide and reducing sexual harm. Granted, either or neither may be the organisation that he was working with, but a search for the term Safer Lives show organisations all linked to the same kind of help and support for people, and this fuckpig done everything against the values of those organisations and his problems they were supposedly trying to help him with. He is also said to have given up drugs and drink, which, according to his defence, was one of the reasons he offended. Yes, because giving up drink and drugs turns people into fucking paedophiles, doesn't it? Also, if he'd been on drink and drugs, why the fuck was he an armed civil nuclear constabulary firearms officer? He is also said to have suffered with Asperger's. According to autismspeaks.org, Asperger's syndrome generally involves difficulty with social interactions, restricted interests, desire for sameness, distinctive strengths, with challenges such as hypersensitivities to lights, sounds, tastes, etc., difficulty with the give and take of conversation, difficulty with non-verbal communication skills, distance, loudness, tone, etc., uncoordinated movement or clumsiness, anxiety and depression. So why the fuck was this man an armed police officer? Now, I'm not knocking those with autism or Asperger's, as I know there's a few who watch this channel, but a gun should never be given to someone who has to understand and deliver commands in hostile and tense situations where someone has the chance of being shot, especially when that person has challenges such as difficulty with the give and take of a conversation, like all fucking police, difficulty with non-verbal communication skills and uncoordinated movements or clumsiness. Judge Ian Unsworth, KC, told Mandale, "You have plunged the very depths of depravity, having images of babies of 6 months being subjected to the most appalling depravity one can imagine. It truly defies belief that someone would have contemplated such a thing, let alone recorded it for paedophiles like you to watch. It's important to note that each and every one of these children are victims. Somewhere in the world, they are being abused. If it were not for people like you, if it were not for paedophiles who want to look at such material, it may well be that such activities would be less likely to occur. It's worth noting that these are not just images, they are babies or children, and they have suffered a great deal." The judge jailed Mandale, who has no previous convictions, for 33 months and put him on the sex offenders register for life. He will also be subject to a sexual harm prevention order for the next decade. Now, I do hope those of you who do suffer with Asperger's don't take offence to my belief that those with guns should be of the utmost peak of mental health and physical health and be able to deal with life or death situations which the CNC would have to deal with. I know that many of you are very intelligent and can live your lives much like the rest of us with no issues, but someone with difficulty with social interactions, someone with clumsiness or anxiety and depression should not, in my opinion, be allowed to be armed in a protective role.